Welcome, coin enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of numismatics. This journey will take us through the history, design, and extraordinary value of a coin that may be hiding in your pocket change right now, the 1983 USA 1-cent coin. You might be surprised to learn just how valuable this seemingly ordinary penny can be, especially when we reveal some jaw-dropping auction prices that have reached into the millions. The historical context of the 1983 1-cent coin. To truly appreciate the 1983 1-cent coin, we must first understand the era in which it was minted. The early 1980s were a time of economic change in the United States. Inflation was high, and the cost of raw materials, especially copper, was on the rise. The U.S. Mint was under pressure to produce coins that were cost-effective, leading to significant changes in the composition of the penny. In 1982, the Mint made a crucial decision to change the composition of the penny. For nearly 170 years, since the inception of the 1-cent coin in 1793, copper had been the primary metal. But with the rising cost of copper, the Mint opted to reduce the copper content drastically. Starting in 1982, pennies were produced with a core of 99.2% zinc, coated with a thin layer of pure copper. This change was implemented to ensure that the cost of producing the penny remained lower than its face value. The transition wasn't without its challenges. The Mint had to ensure that the new zinc pennies looked and felt like the traditional copper ones. This transition period is key to understanding the significance of the 1983 penny. While most pennies minted in 1983 were made of the new zinc composition, a very small number of 1983 pennies were mistakenly struck using the older, solid copper planchets, creating some of the rarest and most valuable pennies in circulation today. But why is the 1983 copper penny so rare? Simply put, it's a mistake, a rare error that slipped through the cracks during the minting process. Most 1983 pennies were intended to be struck on zinc planchets, but a few copper planchets were mistakenly used, resulting in these highly sought-after coins. The design of the 1983 1-cent coin. Now, let's talk about the design of the 1983 penny. Despite the significant changes in composition, the design of the 1-cent coin remained consistent with its predecessors. The obverse features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Brenner's design has become one of the most enduring and beloved images in American coinage, remaining largely unchanged for over a century. The design features a right-facing profile of Lincoln, with the word Liberty to the left and the date 1983 to the right. Above Lincoln's head, the motto, "In God We Trust," is inscribed. This classic design has been a constant on the penny since it first appeared in 1909, a testament to its popularity and the respect for Lincoln's legacy. Victor David Brenner, the designer of this iconic portrait, was a Lithuanian immigrant whose artistic talents caught the attention of President Theodore Roosevelt. Brenner's depiction of Lincoln was based on a photograph by Matthew Brady, one of the most famous photographers of the 19th century. Brenner's design was revolutionary at the time, as it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's likeness. Prior to the Lincoln cent, American coins typically featured allegorical figures representing liberty. The reverse side of the 1983 penny, however, underwent a significant change in 1959, when the wheat ears design, which had graced the reverse since 1909, was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design, created by Frank Gasparo. This change was made to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse design features the Lincoln Memorial, with the inscriptions, United States of America, and E Pluribus Unum, above it, and 1 cent, below. Gasparo's design of the Lincoln Memorial is detailed and symbolic. If you look closely at the center of the memorial, you can actually see a tiny representation of the statue of Lincoln, just as it appears in the real-life memorial in Washington, D.C. This subtle detail is a favorite among collectors and adds an extra layer of historical significance to the coin. The Lincoln Memorial design remained on the penny until 2008, making the 1983 penny part of a long and storied chapter in American numismatic history. However, It's not the design but rather the composition that makes some 1983 pennies extremely valuable. The rarity of the 1983 1-cent coin. When it comes to rarity, the 1983 penny is an interesting case. As mentioned earlier, the majority of 1983 pennies were struck on zinc planchets. However, a small number of these coins were mistakenly struck on leftover copper planchets from 1982. These rare copper pennies are the holy grail for collectors, fetching staggering sums at auction. To put this into perspective, the 1983 penny had a mintage of over 7.7 billion, making it one of the most common coins in circulation. But within that massive production run, only a handful of copper pennies have been discovered. The rarity of these copper pennies is what drives their value sky high. They're so rare that many collectors spend years searching through rolls of pennies, hoping to find one. But how can you tell if you have one of these rare 1983 copper pennies? The easiest way is to weigh the coin. A typical 1983 zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, while a copper penny weighs 3.11 grams. If you find a 1983 penny that weighs closer to 3.11 grams, you may have struck gold, literally. It's important to note that some 1983 pennies might appear to be copper due to their color, but they're actually zinc with a copper coating. The weight test is the most reliable method. If you suspect you have a 1983 copper penny, it's worth having it authenticated by a professional grading service to confirm its composition and condition. Now, let's dive into some real-world examples of these rare coins being sold at auction. This is where things get really exciting. Recent auctions and record-breaking sales. Over the years, a few 1983 copper pennies have made headlines for their astonishing auction prices. These sales are proof that even a humble penny can turn into $1 million treasure under the right circumstances. One of the most famous sales occurred in 2013, when a 1983 copper penny was sold at auction for $23,500. While this is already an impressive sum, it pales in comparison to more recent sales. In 2019, another 1983 copper penny, graded MS65 by the Professional Coin Grade. To another episode of our coin collecting series. Today, we're delving into a fascinating topic, the USA 1-cent coin from 1984. This seemingly modest coin has a rich history, unique design, and interesting rarity factors that make it a significant piece in the world of numismatics. We'll explore its design intricacies, historical background, and delve into its rarity. Additionally, we'll examine recent auction results to understand its value in today's market. Buckle up as we embark on this comprehensive journey into the 1984 1-cent coin, the design of the 1984 1-cent coin. The 1-cent coin of 1984, commonly known as the Lincoln penny, continues the tradition